Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Malrias's Musings. This is Malrias, and today we are doing a tarot review of the Pulp Tarot. Now, first thing first, Todd Alcott. Todd Alcott has done a series of tarot decks. The Pulp Tarot, which we're looking at today, the Sci-Fi Tarot, and the Horror Tarot. Now, when I say the horror tarot, I'm not talking about the horror tarot that we reviewed here some time ago. This is a different horror tarot. It's along the themes of what you see here. This is the only one that I own so far. But as you can see, I don't know if you remember the old pulp magazines back in the day, but this pulp deck has been patterned after that. And so it's supposed to look like an old pulp, so it's got the book thing going, which this is not a crease. That is that's part of it. That's printed in. That's part of it. That's on purpose. That's printed. That's not a crease. That's not a crease either. And look, the pages look worn. They're meant to look worn. That's also inked in. That's not like, as you can see, the edge of my finger. It doesn't actually bend. It's straight. It's just printed that way, as you can see. It's printed that way. So this is very nicely done. I would say that this is a spectacular presentation. They went through a lot of thought, a lot of trouble. I didn't mean for that to stick out, but that just works. They went through a lot of thought and trouble to make it look good, or Todd Alcott did. I've seen all three decks. I haven't looked through all three decks, but I've seen like the boxes for all three decks. It's basically the same idea, just one's pulp, like the old detective stories. And then you've got the sci-fi and horror, which are made to look like the movie posters. So opening it up, again, it looks like old paper. And we've got the book, and pretty basic, pretty good. Just kind of covers everything. I do think there are some spreads, at least described. If not, here, I'm going to pull this off camera real quick so I can see it a little better. My eyes aren't what they used to be. I don't think that there is any spreads in here, but that's okay. I am going to say that this is both a reader's deck and a collector deck. I would say it's both down the middle. You could totally read with this. We'll get into that in just a second. But this is the inside of the box. It's where the cards go. It's got the pull ribbon, which works even better here for this situation because this is made to look like a book, so the pull ribbon actually looks natural. So just to give an idea of some of the cards before we start really looking into how it works as a reader's deck. This is the the 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles. We've got, set that off to the side. We've got Strength. Major Arcana number 8, Strength. The Magician. He's got his sword, his wand, his cup, and his coin. Four of Cups. See what's happening there. See what's happening there. See what's happening there. The Wands, Five of Wands. It's very similar to a Pullman Cole deck, the standard deck, except that it's just got these variations on it. High Priestess. I mean, it basically is those cards, but just kind of redone with like a pulp cover. And this is the back. Pulp Tarot. It's a very nice deck. It's a very, very nice deck. You could read this. One of the things that I like about it is, like I said, it is very traditional. It's more traditional than it looks. There's the Death card. All the figures are there. It's a very traditional deck in that sense, where it's got the Pamela Coleman Smith symbolism written into each card. And there's a lot of action you can play off, just like those cards. You know, there's a lot of action you can play. You could play one card off of another, like let's say these two. You know, this one's looking over to this one, kind of in a little bit, or you know, however you want to do that. But what I'm saying is that it is a reader's deck. It is a collector's deck. But this is, I could totally read with this. I could totally read with this. Two of Pentacles. I mean, that's the basic Two of Pentacles. It's just with a different skin on it. So, I'm not a gamer, but I know what a skin is. The Pulp Tarot, I like that. I like that at a distance. It just looks like, you know, any basic kind of backing for a card. I recommend it. I think it's a really good deck. And like I said, you could totally read it. It's a reader's deck too. Made with some, and I'm not saying that a deck has to be traditional to work. It doesn't have to be Pamela Coleman Smith. If you see my main tarot video, I'm a preference of, I like the Marseille deck myself, but I'm not saying that it has to be, but because this one follows the Pamela deck so much, the Smith deck so much, that it's definitely readable. And he didn't, more important to the fact that Todd didn't let his theme and trying to make that theme happen get into the way of making the cards readable. When you have a lot of like either action or symbolism or something in there, that makes the cards more readable rather than like pushing for like what kind of angle you're trying to put on the cards. Like that, the horror deck that I did review, they're all in the same pose. Like there's not a lot going on. You're basically just, you're interpreting the cards based on card name only at that point. Whereas here you've got action that you can see. You can let your intuition take part, both by the names, but also by the pictures. So, oops, bumping the camera there. So with that being said, definitely recommend it. I am going to pick up the horror deck. That's probably going to be one of my next purchases, is the horror deck. But I have a lot of decks to go over. So if I don't buy that one right away, it's not going to hurt anything. So I'll see y'all on the flip. Malrayas out.